by none other than the lyrical gangster himself. We've seen a lot of Clockwork in the past couple of days.
Yes, we have. Oh, Lord.
I had to, dude. It's revenge.
You know what happens?
Revenge from yesterday.
I mean, revenge. I was saying all these nice things about you. I was like, oh, Gareth, he's a great guy, all that stuff. And you're like, you got to bring back the lyrical. Ugh, it's an awful time. But yeah, Clockwork.
I like
still an amazing hero. Please, no.
I'm sorry if I've hurt you. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, I think that that Clockwork's just been like the hero so far of the games that we've watched, at least. And Chip+4 with their mag was one of the great teams to play it. Of course, 3-3 also doing it a lot. But I kind of, I'm not going to lie, I feel like Empire, after their performance at DAC, after their performance recently in other tournaments, I think they might be on another level to Chip+4. I could be wrong about it, but that's just my initial impression.
Yeah, they've got those star players, and they've got that kind of X factor in the draft, with the Meepo or the PA or these kind of, steroid buffed up heroes. I think that's probably why Chip+4 literally first banned Magnus as quickly as they could. But I'd have to agree. Clockwork has been that hero that's kind of won lanes which he had no right to win, start team fights which shouldn't have started. With the long range initiation and the kind of vision he gets from Rocket Flare, he's honestly proven himself to be like a top tier hero in this tournament at the very least. But Kotal alongside him is something that we haven't seen too much of. Again, you've kind of got more global power, a great way to split push and keep waves cleared out from your tier 1s. And Team Empire, who, both of these teams, the CIS meta at the moment is pretty much systematic pick and, pick up a kill, find Roshan or find a tier 1 or something, and transition from there. It's pretty much about snowballing, whereas we see a few other teams maybe do a bit more split pushing and ratting, trying to chip away at towers over time. These two teams just go head on head, fight from minute 1.
Totally. And Kotal is one of those heroes that you can also use it not just to push out waves, but also to siege high ground in a lot of ways with, maybe a melee core that wouldn't allow it before, but now you have the healing from daytime if you get enough farm on him to get towards Naganim Scepter. The Night Stalker banned out, obviously. You don't want to have to deal with those shenanigans. And they're actually going to ban out the Tinker. I wonder if they're reading this as more like Kotal to ensure a late game hero, something along the lines of a Spectre or something like that. I don't know. It's an interesting ban, though.
Yeah, I think Spectre could be a really good ban here. You talk about Kotal kind of being that enabler for high ground pushers. Sort of like the poor man's Phoenix in that regard. You need the Aghanim Scepter to get up and running, but you offer so much more in different areas of the game. You can flash farm as well as Kotal. You can go back into the jungle, stack and farm camps for yourself. And we think back to what, like 7-8 months ago when... was it AUI that played Kotal and got like a ridiculously fast, like 11-minute, 12-minute Aghanim Scepter just by jungling? There are cool little tricks you can do.
Totally. I don't remember if that was on. That was a little while ago. I'm not sure if that was on the same map or not, but there's still definitely those possibilities. And well, it's going to be the Monkey King taken for Chip+4. They also ban out the Terrorblade on Team Empire. Pretty good decision there as well. We've seen how strong that hero can be as well. But the thing I'm kind of curious about is also if we see one of the main ways that we saw Kotal played before was as part of a dual lane to push it out, and then you can get the side pull going in the off lane. Seems unlikely that that's going to be the case with the Monkey King in the lane, unless they have an incredibly strong lane here, like a troll or something on Chip+4.
Yeah, solo safe laning is always going to be difficult with the precedence of aggro dual lanes. Like even Lifestealer Warlock could go as an aggro dual lane. This is one of the honestly, this is one of the original aggro dual lanes that we saw in the kind of 7.00 patches or just before, around the Boston Major. Was Luna plus Shadow Demon or Warlock plus Lifestealer as aggro dual lanes, and it started this whole thing where you'd have your off-lane hero, your initiator, the guy that's meant to go solo, take the safe lane into level 4 or level 5, and then when he's got that kind of, the burst of power ready in the palm of his hands, he can move back to the off-lane, win his lane there, or trade farm effectively, while your carry hero, your one-roll, comes away from the off-lane and takes over the jungle. And it messes up heroes like Monkey King and Keeper of the Light because they like to kind of choose a spot to go to. Monkey can jump around from lane to lane, but often it's inefficient for him to move from safe lane to off lane because he doesn't want a TP. He has to go and buy one and waste gold when he wants phase boots and all of that, and he wants to collect runes and move kind of more naturally and freely. And when you add the chaos of Spirit Breaker in here for Team Empire, who can further follow the Monkey King and track his actions, I worry. I worry for Chip+4 in their laning stage.
I think they do too, which is why we're seeing this really long time taking figuring out what they want to do. And this, it still could be run mid. They definitely have that possibility if they wanted to do it. Take it on Magical. I think that they were one of the teams that was running it yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. But it also could just be shoring up their safe lane as well.
Oh. That's even more annoying. Bat Rider. But yeah, I agree. The Ursa's been kind of a go-to hero for a lot of these teams, but I feel like we're seeing the Ursa mid more often than not. Matches up decently against the majority of mid laners. Here, I think you might be right. The fact that Ursa was picked up later than Lifestealer, you know, you have a kind of direct counter there up against him. But you have the fear that Ursa's going to get kited, not just by the enemy team, but you know, there's Clockwork Cogs, there's Monkey and Keeper of the Light to get in the way. Sure, they cause a lot of havoc and chaos in team fights, but you're dealing with things like Nether Strike, Upheaval, Sticky Napalm. Ursa's going to get kited to all hell.
Yeah. Well, he is, and I mean, one of the downsides, too, is that there aren't really many stuns in the game as a whole, I guess. But I think the movement speed advantage may be a little bit further into the favor of Team Empire. You've got things like Sticky Napalm. You've got things like Spirit Breaker, Empowering Haste. All of these different abilities that are going to make it hard for us to stay onto a target. And then also BKB Piercing disables kind of out the wazoo. And this is obviously a hero that wants it for Ursa as well as to pick up that BKB. He might, I don't even know if he needs to get it in this game, honestly. It's probably more with it to get Aghanim Scepter and like blink that style of play. What do you think? Do you need to try and address those problems now with the next couple of picks? Like, did Chip+4 go for something funky like a Puck here as their last? Or Team I guess it's more in response to what Team Empire take.
Yeah, it's a hard one, right? Like, you still have the option to put Ursa mid, but you would love to have a natural carrier. You know, a Puck or a Storm Spirit would be decent. You're still a little bit worried about the Bat and Spirit Breaker control things up, but you definitely need someone who can jump into the backlines with the Clockwork potentially, and the Ursa then the Ursa with a Blink Dagger going with them, to actually find, you know, Warlock and Bat Rider in the trees hiding while they're getting prepped and ready to jump in themselves. So I could see Team Empire maybe going for something like a Storm Spirit, because there's this kind of lack of control. Mana Leak's a bit annoying, but the fact you have Bat and Storm and Lifestealer could really, really pay dividends for you in the mid game. While Chip+4, it's
10 seconds remaining.
It's much more difficult. I guess they, like you said, they do see the 1v1 matchup for mid lane. But maybe something like an Ember Spirit wouldn't be too bad. I've seen a lot of Ember Ursas together.
Yeah.
You kind of worry about their high ground pushing and the tier 3 breaking potential of them. But if Kotal can get Ags, then it's okay.
Yeah, I actually would really like to see something like that. Something that gives them a bit more control. Because, like, I feel like there just aren't many safe laners that are going to give you that, right? But now with OD taken, there aren't a ton of great picks, are there?
Well, like, that's the thing. If you wanted to take Ember now against an OD, you're just kind of giving up that lane and saying, okay, you win. OD wins that lane against the Ember Spirit. So that has made things infinitely more difficult for Chip+4. You know, there's so many boxes they need to tick, and now a bunch of those boxes have been removed because OD has been picked.
The other thing, too, is think about the way that Chip+4 won the lane the other day against an OD with an Ursa. They had it with the Spirit Breaker, so there's always the threat that Spirit Breaker could come charging in, and then Ursa and Spirit Breaker would kill the OD. They're not going to have that luxury this game. Monkey King could maybe still set it up in a similar way, but I felt like it was really the power of that Spirit Breaker. With just one bash, they would kill OD mid.
Yeah, it was like, it's mainly the threat of the Astral. You know, OD kind of wins his lane by throwing Astral onto creep waves and farming and, you know, shoving the lane back to the enemy tier 1. But against the Spirit Breaker, you can't do that because you need to hold it for when they initiate, you know, to kind of catch the Ursa or the Spirit Breaker as they're coming in. But yeah, it's going to be the Ursa mid against the OD with the help of Monkey King, it looks like. But the anti-mage from Chip+4, I wonder what kind of build he's going to go for, because we've seen a bunch of different ones, you know, out from Burning, out from a bunch of other players, going for Midas first. We've seen Vanguards, going back to like the Vlad's build. Maybe you just go for the normal, like, hard split push here, like we were looking for with the Kotal and Clockwork, and just go for the Battle Fury as quickly as possible. Try and rat this map as much as you can.
Well, yeah, and that's like the other way to do it, right? Is you have the anti-mage split pushing, Coddle keeps the Laves pushed out, and then you have like the combo of Clockwork and Ursa just run around the map and find kills constantly. And that was something that we saw at a Clockwork yesterday, was like the Hand of Midas into Orchid build, which I kind of liked. And if you go for something like that, all of a sudden, you know, the combination of those two heroes can probably kill off anybody on the map.
Yeah, I really do love that build, especially against, you know, Ember and Storm and heroes like that don't want to buy into BKBs or Mantas or Ewels, but maybe forced to. But in this game against Lifestealer and Spirit Breaker, I think you have to kind of just tank up as the clock, go for, you know, Blade Mail, Force Staff. If you get a good laning stage, sure, go for the Midas and then transition into your utility. But I feel this is really like a utility Clockwork game. It is like the epitome of 4 Protect 1, right? 4 heroes go and fight, AM kind of just farms. Unless Arc brings out something cool and special from the AM, like the fighting build. You know, we've seen a few times in high-level pub games. I don't think it's come out into competitive yet, but the kind of Vanguard, Echo Saber, Maelstrom build. I know Dendi played that a fair amount. There's a couple of other AM players who have been like tinkering with early game anti-mage builds, because he can do a lot of damage, especially with his blink early on.
Well, I'm excited to see it, but you know, getting into this game at number 1. Chip+4 facing off against Empire. I'm loving this part of it too, because I just have to sit back, relax, and, you know, sit in my pajamas and cast some Dota. I don't have to be on top of observing. I could just like go AFK for a little while. It's all fine. It's great. It's wonderful. A wonderful environment to cast Dota in.
Oh yes. So you can just have, like, you know, your bowl of soup or your big mug of tea just in your hands the entire time. Yeah. Warm yourself up. Wonderful.
It does look like they're going to be trying to run this aggro dual lane with the Spirit Breaker and the Bat Rider. This is something that we saw a lot, like we were talking about before, and it is actually going to be the Coddle and the Clockwork down here. I feel like they're going to have to rotate Coddle, though, right?
Oh, that's the thing, right? There's kind of one of 2 or 3 things you do here. Either you rotate the Coddle to try and deal with this, or you apply pressure to force the Spirit Breaker to move. Because, okay, Bat Rider, Spirit Breaker are going to annoy the Monkey King and the AM for a little bit. They'll probably stop them from getting, you know, a third of the CS, maybe half of the CS that they would naturally get. But in the meantime, you're going to be, like, applying... Oh, wow, he actually went for that.
Yeah, and he took... Oh, no, he took Mana Break level 1. Arc, this is going to be first blood. Maybe? Yeah. Oh, wow. What a blunder. Ghost Stick and... I think he's fine.
Yeah?
I think he's fine.
He duked out the Primal Spring. It's still on cooldown for 10 seconds. There's, like, no way that Yol catches this, surely. They've got the Shrine. Yeah, you can't kill the Bat Rider. That's a huge blunder.
Wow.
And now
I
think you just, like, double down on playing aggressively in the offlane now as the Dire team, losing your AM so early.
But, I mean... Is there really a potential to put that much aggression on a Chappie here, a Lifestealer? All right, yeah. Take a second to think about your options, guys. Like, let's try and figure out what you want to do, because that was just about as bad as it could go.
That was pretty not good. Now the Spirit Breaker's in like a 1v1 where he wants to be against the Monkey King. One of them has PMS and Orb of Venom. One of them doesn't, though. So Monkey King actually kind of has the upper hand until bashes come out. I mean, Poshka, obviously, the first hit he gets on the Monkey King is a bash, just straight in there, you know, whacks him once in the face, trying to contest this pull. Then you've left Bat in a 1v1. This is, you know, this is pretty amazing for Bat Rider and the Radiant team in general.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're still getting their farm. I'm wondering if this is going to start to transition over into being a more difficult lane as levels come up or something like that. In the meantime, Warlock an incredibly strong support to be able to, you know, help zone out Mag at least a little bit. And it looks like they're just trying to get Coddle set up with farming up these stacks, which he's already begun to build. And this feels to me about the best that they could do at this point.
They're trying to kill top again.
Yo, getting bashed, gonna be brought down yet again. So 2 kills for this very, very strong dual lane.
That seemed so, like, blasé. Like, they just stood there and took it. Like, almost felt like they didn't care they were going to lose the Monkey King there. I guess as long as they keep the AM alive, Monkey King just sacrifices his life for it. Arc is CSing very well. He's got his magic wand done. 6 charges already up in it. He'll be saving for, you know, Ring of Health, or maybe you go Brown Boots. I'm not entirely sure, but it's a charge towards mid that you have to watch out for.
Yeah, and he is going to get caught there now with the Haste Rune Magical. Maybe in a little bit of trouble, though. He can keep on trading off hits against Maposhka, and we'll just force out the Shrine, at least for the moment.
And Yol gets spotted over in the Radiant jungle. Doesn't steal King R's bounty rune, though. How is this Kossel doing? Like, is he just stacking and pulling now?
Pretty much. He finished off one of those camps, the medium camp over in that secondary jungle, as there was another one of those Astrals used mid. Still, I mean, he can do this with impunity. There's nothing that they can do to stop it. And they've decided that instead they want to stick the Monkey King down bottom because they realize they can't do anything else, really, with the Coddle the controlled Chappie.
It has been a difficult one. They got Mag to level 3, though, so he's had a relatively quick route towards the level 6. As Monkey King, like you said, does arrive, but I'm not entirely sure what they look for here. They're basically just banking on King R to make a mistake, right? If they can kill the Warlock, then that's great, but to do so, you need him to wander into your territory and really screw up badly in his positioning.
Yeah.
I mean, yet again, we're actually seeing the Ursa trade evenly with the OD.
Yeah. We do have the double null tally coming out now. I'm kind of wondering if this is something where it will start to transition, or if FN is just sort of going to have to keep on trading out evenly. In the meantime, Maposhka's coming in to mess with the Coddle in the jungle. Coddle almost level 3 at this stage and has been able to take out, I believe, that other camp that was stacked up again. You didn't manage to find the stack on the hard camp, unfortunately, as the charge is going top, and Arc might be in a little bit of trouble as Ghostic is looking to chase this down. He does still have Blink, obviously. Flame Break pushing him back.
A lot of damage, though, Lyrical.
Oh, he gets bashed mid-hit.
The value point in Flame Break as well, doing so much damage. King R drops the bottom lane. They started off with just, the Battery Assault and running at the Warlock, but he was out of position. He was caught a little bit too far forward with Chappie in line with the creep wave. And with the Monkey King there, it was all too easy.
Well, FN is going to start to get a little bit of the spam out, starting to rack up the denies. Has as many denies as Ursa does have last hits at this point, but we'll see if maybe, Ursa can get a little bit of help from his friends, as you do have Clockwork that's still a ways away from 4. It doesn't feel like they want to move Monkey King away from this lane, though.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder why they don't send him mid, or at least to go hunt down this Warlock who hasn't returned to lane, but maybe Mag just has him.
Arc is dead again. Well, Ghostic on a killing spree, and every one of those kills has been the anti-mage at this point, as we do have Mag caught in the cogs by King R. They're trying to run him down. Battery Assault not quite in range to connect onto that Warlock.
That was close, though. I think if Mag had reacted maybe, a second earlier, he kind of hesitated when the Warlock came around the trees, probably looking at the shop, or, looking elsewhere on different lanes, where to rocket, where to TP to. Maybe would have had King R before he got towards that creep camp and cut through the trees. Nice attempt anyway. By Chip+4. But as long as the laning stage keeps on at this rate, Lifestealer's going to have his armlet, he's going to have, his fighting items so much faster than Chip+4 can really react.
Oh, they want to go in now. FN did just use that Astral, and you do have Monkey King in the area. We'll see if they can run there in time, though. FN playing very safe now that he does not have that Astral and won't get caught by the Primal Spring. Now they have a charge coming forward in towards mid, starting to rack up a little bit of damage. It looks like he'll pass through Yol on his way towards there, but should be a call off as, well, maybe slow down a little bit. If he gets a bash here or ends up finding that Astral, good Wukong's Boundless Strike, coming out. Tried to go for the juke into the Ancients, but they get the kill nonetheless.
Oh, the neutral kills him. Yeah, that's worth it. You bait a couple of people in, bait the Spirit Breaker charge, you keep your Ursa alive, and now the Ursa has phase boots. Yeah, over on the courier, bringing it in. Magical now has that kind of 1-up where movement speed is going to allow him to maybe chase into the OD or look for kills onto the Warlock, who's been lurking behind, collecting bounty runes, trying to buy his brown boots. But AM has been farming still reasonably well, even though he has a couple of deaths. Well, three deaths. He actually has quite a number of deaths. He might die again. This is a big one.
Oh god! And they are gonna blink. Actually, to the south. Really good. And we'll be able to stay alive at least for now. So, it's been a rough go for him, but he's gotten levels and a decent amount of farm, most for his team. Still pretty far behind the Lifestealer, though.
Yeah, net worth-wise, what does it look like? He's, oh god, yeah, 1,400 behind the Lifestealer. I mean, all of that CS is wonderful, but if you keep dying and losing your gold along with it, then it's not so great. But that's the big kill. Like, killing him the first, 2-3 times is, like, good. You delay his CS, you make him lose, like, a third of his farm. But if they manage to get that kill there, that is, like, massively crippling. That's, that's almost like, okay, guys, I'm going to go jungle. And he just leaves the lane. You cannot die
Sort of
4
like
times.
Magical. I think that's sort of what we're seeing from Magical here. Like, the first couple CS were looking good, but now OD has maintained that deny lead over him, 39-25, and Magical's just like, all right, I'm done. We're out of here.
Yep, I'm jungling, guys. I need my Blink Dagger. This jungle might start to get a bit congested, though. Mag on the other side of the map is looking for action. He actually finds King R.
Does have the hook shot as well. Cogs connect. He's going to be able to run him down and kill him off here, most likely. Chappie on position to save him this time around at the very least.
Well, so Mag's getting stuff done. Just need everyone else on his team to follow suit.
Ooh, another charge up here towards the top. They're on to the anti-mage, and, well, unfortunately this time, Blink, maybe he can get out of here. Took some more of that DOT, but will get out.
73 HP. Very, very close to death. Like, that's one bash, right? That's one bash or one more hit from the Batrider or something. Ghost Stick maybe missed out on a hit when he lassoed and sort of turned around. But Anti-Mage going to count his lucky stars that he's able to survive and escape. But it's still a long trip all the way back to Fountain. Then he has to TP to lane again. See, these attempts, these, ganks onto the AM, even if they don't kill him, they're forcing him to waste money on TP scrolls, waste time and money walking around instead of farming creeps.
Yeah, and it's just every 90 seconds they're going to do this with Flaming Lasso off cooldown. So 45 seconds away, and even potentially before that, they're going to try and start to chip him down and make trouble, deny him a couple of CS here and there. It's a really rough game for this AM, but there's not really anything else that he can do about it, honestly.
No, that's the thing. When your Kotal's been farming jungle, there are no stacks for you. Ursa's now farming your side of the map as well. They'll try and give him some CS from this stacked camp here, but it's still very difficult for him with the large creeps being present. You just look at how tanky Miposhka is. He's got Urn, Orb of Venom, he's level 5, but there feels as though there's no kill power of Chip+4 on anyone apart from Warlock. Maybe Mag finds the OD, but it's still a tough one.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not as if Ursa can just run in afterwards, because you're going to have the Cogs that, well, there's going to be the Astral. FN taking a lot of damage. He is going to be able to walk out of this one, but the Battery Assault will run him down, and that was a huge kill. They needed that desperately. You do have Yol in the area. It's there to try and break anything up, just in case they're able to find a bash onto that Clockwork with a Spirit Break coming in. But
I feel like FN misplayed that. Like, Cog's duration is 5 seconds, Astral is 4, so he'd only have 1 second of Battery Assault. Maybe he just didn't know that the interaction between Astral and Battery Assault is that Battery still continues during Astral. That's a really nice play by Chappie, though.
Oh, very much so.
He just
Getting Yol.
He just walked up to a tree, cut it down, and then just right-clicked Yol. It was super easy. Like the smoothest thing I've seen in a long time.
Uh-oh. Well, Blink Dagger reveal for Ghost Stick up in the top lane where there is more action. Constantly damage coming through is going to be enough to burn him down. Had stick charges on cooldown. Oh, it hurts.
Was that a 10-minute Blink Dagger for your offlane Batrider? That's freaking insane.
I mean, 4-0-1, and all those kills were on an AM pretty much.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we've seen a Batrider this fat, I feel. They've so often needed to go back to the jungle being forced out. But this dual lane with Batrider, we saw Na'Vi do it with Ogre or Wisp. They've done that a lot in the past. As, oh dear, the Ursa.
Magical. Yeah, it's a nice little combo there, I guess. Just being able to catch with the hook shot used, Cogs pushback, I'm sure, and Magical going in for the right clicks as mid lane they try and just keep their OD farmed up. It's been little flubbers here and there by Team Empire. Still the storyline to me, though, they're going to need to make a lot of space for this AM.
But even that space is going to be taken up by this Lifestealer who went for the Midas first. And now they have, the classic 12-minute Midas Lifestealer infested into the Blink Batrider, which I don't think I've ever seen. But we'll see what they do with it. They even have
This is really telegraphed, though. That smoke that's going over towards mid, that the Spirit Breaker was charging him as that was happening. So Empire is all set up and ready for this. Like, they're trying to groove up to make something happen, I guess, but Yeah, Empire is super aware.
I think both teams are kind of aware of what's happening, the posturing across the river, so Chip+4, they just farm up the AM, keep him going, keep him trucking over. Battle Fury still a long way away. But it also buys time for Empire to get 6 onto King R. You know, he's still in desperate need of this point in his ultimate. Almost 13 minutes in, he's had a slow road getting picked off by Mag a couple of times.
Look at the way that you have Chip+4 just like moved around the map right now. They're all outside of their jungle, sort of in a concave around where Anti-Mage is going to be farming.
Is under attack.
The 4 bodyguards. I mean, they literally are just making like a barrier, like a line between the opponents and Anti-Mage for as long as they possibly can. But they found one. Yol taken out very simply there. Not the biggest of kills.
Now Arc charged again in the bottom lane and is going to be reaped by the Kata. Wants every CS possible, but he went a little bit too greedy, and now he's going to be brought down in a second. Possibly, no, he does get out. Bows won't be recalled. Oh, man. Look at this guy. He can't make a life for himself.
Everywhere he goes, the Spirit Breaker follows. That has been the story of the Anti-Mage of this game. Miposhka, what hero was Miposhka playing the other day where he was just... No, that was Yol that was just going in, right? It was Yol Slardar.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure Miposhka's like done the same thing. He just goes in, he finds a target, he locks him in at the start of the game, says, right, every time I see him on the map, I'm going to charge him. And that's been the Anti-Mage every step of the way.
Well, you do have a couple of things for Chip+4 here. Magical finishing off the Blink Dagger now. Mag obviously can find the initiation, and now you can put somebody in the Pain Train Brigade or whatever the thing you want to call it. As he can just like hook in, and then Ursa jumps the OD, for instance.
The Thunderdome.
Thunderdome, I love that. But that being said, Warlock also has ulti now, so it could be a little bit scary.
And they have 4 staff on OD, I think is like the most important thing for Empire here. Didn't go for the Hand of Midas, didn't go for the greedy build. Against the Clockwork and an Ursa, he went straight for that force. Needed the mobility to get himself out of these initiations. But they've also got the Midas on the Clockwork. He's aiming for maybe the mid-game or the late game here. Probably look for the 4 staff, the Solar Crest, Lincolns, and Lotus Orb. So Chappie finishes his armlet at long last.
I mean, they're setting up down here, though. They have Mag in the area. There's an infested Spirit Breaker.
And they smoked Bat. They smoked Bat and Warlock as well.
I mean, if he wanted to, as soon as AM showed, he could just TP to the top lane and charge him from here. And that is literally what he's going to do? Oh, God. What a butthead. Oh, he wasn't able to get the charge off, though. And now they're going to recall. This is actually great play. This is great play Chip+4.
Is that just game sense? Do they they didn't see any of this happen, right? They had, I guess the one observer ward probably saw the TPs coming in top lane, but they had no idea that they were setting up bot.
Well, Yol able to find that kill on the OD in the mid lane as they do finally use that combination of magical Mag and a little bit of help from Yol. Ghost Stick now try to chase down Yol himself. They're able to get the infest. Actually, no, he's no longer infested, but they do get that chaotic offering down onto Magical. Wukong's command comes out to try and disrupt this play that's coming in, and they're able to keep Miposhka inside of these cogs as well, but Chappie is just beating away at him. They do manage to find that kill. Miposhka gets out by the skin of his teeth. So the final tally is the Ursa and the Clockwork for the OD.
They finally kill that Clockwork as well. Really great presence of mind there by Chappie. Pops his rage and just goes straight up to hit the cog so he can break his way in to kill off Mag. Because there was a hero stuck in there. Miposhka was taking, a beating from battery assault, and just the right clicks from Clockwork can be painful enough. But a bunch of ultis expended. Even the Wukong's command kind of held the high ground. It was just unfortunate that Chip+4 was spread sort of 3 on top of the ramp and 2 on the bottom of the ramp and couldn't really engage in the way that they wanted to. Especially with a chaotic offering dropping like right in the middle of them all. That split the fight as much as the cogs did in the end.
Look at this play. He got the illusion rune on Arc and now is going to get recalled. Oh, quick fingers. And his Eclipse is going to be off the mark.
Yeah, nearly though. Nearly cancelled it out. Don't know what the OD was planning to do after using Sandy's Eclipse though. Like,
yeah.
How'd you get in onto him? Oh, have they found the AM? Okay.
Yep. I wanted to try and keep him alive. It wasn't going to happen though. Yeah, I think it was just one of those things where you like keep them around so that way the recall doesn't work out. But we're seeing the power of this Coddle AM. It's something that works well as Yola's going to get ran down the bottom lane. We're also seeing the power of the Spear Breaker. Quick fingers again by Yola. He gets the Boundless Strike into the tree jump a second time. That gets him out of that one.
Very fortunate. But look at the movement in from Empire. They've found again the clockwork.
Trying to get their way out of here. Meg is barely going to get out, taking a lot of damage in the fountain, dropped down to about 80 HP, but we'll live through that one.
Very, very nearly. I wonder what the plan there was from Ghostic, though, because he kind of dragged the clock away from his lifestealer who was incoming from the north. I'm pretty sure that's a secured kill, but maybe they just wanted it to be safer than, you know, a safer attempt than a guaranteed secured kill, especially near the enemy shrine where TPs can come in so quickly. And it looks kind of weird when the bat drags the target away from one of their biggest damage sources, but it's just like trying to make it as safe as possible. Because when you're 10-5 ahead and, you know, you've got this net worth lead of about 6,000, you give away a kill on the lifestealer or the bat here, and that's, you know, a good sort of 2k that goes the other way of the enemies.
I mean, I will say that if you get into a situation late game, though, like if you start getting a little bit too cavalier, if you play Chip+4, they do have an anti-mage, and it's against an OD. Like, the Mana Void would be huge if they're able to get it off, and you've got a couple of different heroes to sort of control that OD while they're able to beat away with, like, a Manta style on the anti-mage, which I'm assuming he's going to go for it since you already see that Battle Fury coming up. It's going to be a late Battle Fury, but you can't get too lackadaisical about your play with Empire.
No, I've seen anti-mages come back from, you know, worse situations than this. This is probably like near the line of the worst, but you know, I've definitely seen AMs, you know, split push their way back to victory, rat away, get their items. Just the biggest thing is that most of the time the AMs don't die in these scenarios. This anti-mage has died 5 times. 110 CS is not that much for this kind of situation.
Uh-oh. Multiple kills all across the map. Mag gets brought down by Chappie in bottom lane. Yol ended up getting brought down by the FN Spearbreaker combination. So, again, it's not the AM, but it's still kills piled on. And now they're charging, again, the anti-mage, who is so close to finishing off that Battle Fury. He's going to be recalled in by Coddle, who's TPing back home. Nifty little play to keep the AM safe.
He didn't get the CS from the wave, though. That's sad. But yeah, even if you're not killing the AM, you know, you are kind of crushing his spirits by killing off heroes like Clockwork and Monkey. Like, especially those two heroes, because they give so much vision and, you know, they threaten the map, they control the map, they can hide in fog and look for pickoffs and targets. Those are the two heroes that Empire are scared of. I don't think they're afraid of anyone other than maybe Clockwork, Monkey, and they enable Ursa, so Ursa is not really like a main one.
Bottom lane, though, they take down FN, and Arc was a part of that. He got the kill. 370 gold going into his coffers, and that's going to be a Battle Fury done. Meanwhile, in the river, there's more battles going on as Chappie brings down Magical. So trying to pull a couple of these back into their favor. Furbian right away gets the bounty rune. Maposhka can get the charge off. This should be a dead Coddle. Well, you do have the rest of the side chasing around off to the other side of him, and now AM decided to get into the fray as well. Just has the Battle Fury dunk. There's going to be the Boundless Strike. Still have another blink in 1 second when they want to use it. It does look like he'll be able to escape this time around.
So there's some of the kiting power from Chip+4, you know, being able to blink and Boundless Strike and jump onto trees, hookshot away. But they still lose 2 very important heroes. They don't gain any real map control. And this tier 1 bottom lane is pretty much forfeit. In the next, you know, 3-4 minutes, we're going to see Empire pretty much take the entire map to themselves. They'll have deep observer wards. They've already got one watching kind of towards the shrine in the north for the entry point where AM will like to blink, you know, between the western and the eastern jungle sort of sides of the dire map. But Roshan's going to be the big one. He's in their hands. It becomes even more difficult for Chip+4 because then the solo pickoffs that they've been able to get with this Clockwork, with the Ursa following through from the initiations from Monkey King, they deplete a lot of their options because they find it very, very difficult to kill heroes off twice, never mind once.
Yeah. And there's not really anything to stop those Roches from just being taken constantly. As Ghostic Almost ends up catching Yol there. Like, at the end of the day, the only big team fight ulti you have is Yol Wukong's command, and he's still ways away from that Basher. He's building towards it pretty soon, and we'll be able to pick up the Javelin pretty quickly. But hookshot in, they are going to be there on to 2. That's going to be a very bold move by Mag, and it does look like he's going to be punished for it. He's actually outside of the cogs, but now Magical jumps in as soon as the offering comes down. And there's the Wukong's command as well. Stays Eclipse, takes down Mag. That's Magical trying to man up against Chappie, but that early Basher just getting finished off by the Lifestealer, finishes off the Ursa, and worse, from bad to worse, it's looking rough for Chip+4.
Mag went a little bit in there. He was like 1v3. The rest of his team not really available to go in. And you just see how far ahead this Lifestealer is. You know, double the net worth of the Ursa Warrior. And Ursa is considered a direct counter to Lifestealer. Because he's got decent armor, his attack speed is amazing, but it's mainly the Fury swipes. You know, you stack up this damage so Lifestealer can't stand and hit you and regen back up with open wounds and feast. But the fact that Chappie has a Deso and a Basher on top of his armlet means that the Ursa just cannot stand up against this. If he had a Basher of his own, maybe it becomes a closer fight. I'm like almost lost here thinking for ideas for Chip+4 to come back, other than AM puts them all on his shoulders and split pushes this game to victory somehow in the next 20 minutes.
Yeah, but even Miposhka here is causing trouble because he's farming out the AM's jungle. Like, he just lost a large camp right there because Miposhka charged him first, and then wherever he was farming, he went in and took the creeps away from him even. You do have double blink now for Arc, which is always nice. It's a good way to get around the map a little bit quicker with maxed out chakra. But still, it's a rough go.
It's worse than rough now, Lyrical. It's very, very, very rough. This is close to impossible, and if this Infest Bomb pays off onto a big target, like Mag again, maybe even the Ursa Warrior, they could secure themselves tier 2s, Roshan, the entire map is theirs for grabs.
Yeah. If there is one thing to be said, though, it is that they've been able to hold on to their tier 2 towers at least until now. It looks like they're going to have to trade them out a little bit, but they're getting little things here and there as Mag. Ooh, Ghost Stick is there. I don't know that they have the Lifestealer Tasty Bomb inside of them.
Oh, but look at how quickly he transitions up into the dire jungle. They might be able to get Ursa.
Yeah, they're actually instead trying to keep FN out of the fight right now, so there's a jump. Are going to be able to find that kill onto Magical as the... It's able to get the double blink away, and there's the blinding light back. Unfortunately, Mag is in no man's land. He already used Hook onto the OD, gets a triple pushback, but I don't think it's going to end up being enough as he is brought down as well. And all AM can really do is try and push out this mid lane, get himself some more farm while they take down the tier 2 in the top.
That whole sequence of movements was like really interesting to watch. Batrider and Lifestealer infest top looking for a pick to get the tier 2 top and then push. They realize no one's coming, so they TP to their own shrine to find a pick like where Miposhka is now. They can't find anyone. But then as soon as the Dire realize that Batrider and Lifestealer aren't top, they shift 3 heroes like through their own jungle top to fight.
Oh my god.
Jeez, okay. That's cool, actually. Well done, FN.
He got a 3-shot him.
Yeah.
He was like bang, bang, bang. He ended up going down.
The Blink Hurricane trick. A very good meme.
Yeah.
They've got Yol
takes
as well.
more than 3. Yeah, he's gone. This is just bad.
Dude,
it's really, really bad. That's a good thing to barracks for nothing.
Yeah.
No commitment at all of anything. And now they caught another.
That's a hard 5 Kotl with Tranquil's Raindrops Magic Stick. He has no stats. He has no HP. 760 HP is absolutely nothing. But yeah, the like transition of Chip+4 up the top to defend tier 2 and fight because they felt they had the numbers, but an even quicker reaction realizing, okay, we don't have a pick at bottom rune spot, was the Batrider and Lifestealer sprinting and running all the way and tracing the movement of the Dire, then catching Ursa and completely ruining their plans. Like, if Batrider and Lifestealer don't move as quickly as they did, then maybe Chip+4 find a fight at their tier 2 where they're like 4v3. And they maybe win that fight or they break even. They get some kind of gold exchange while AM is fighting, farming, and split pushing. But literally just Ghost Stick's movements this game have caused absolute havoc for the Dire.
And unfortunately, Ghost Stick's movement might even cause a little bit more because you do have Arcane Chase now. It looks like Mag is going to be there to be the bodyguard yet again. I mean, it is called Chip+4, so maybe this is the way their team functions, but It is looking rough right now. He's getting close to his Manta style, and again, option, but he is building towards that Shiva's. Arc is going to get recalled here. Doesn't quite get a chance to finish off that creep wave. And he's actually 10 gold away from finishing off the Manta. Just sitting there. There it is.
He needs buyback, though. If he dies now, it's so sad. Also, I think it's called Chip+4 because Mag's last name is like Chipevko or something.
Ah, okay.
Because that's his picture with the sunglasses with the easy next to it.
Got it. So it's not because they want to run a 1 and 5 a.m.
Oh,
at
please.
27 minutes.
Please, my dude. This is not an acceptable subject matter. We do not talk about AMs feeding like this. It feels so bad.
All right, this is the play though. This is the dream. This is what they want. This is what they want in their lives.
They scanned
and it's
them,
looking like it's not going to happen.
The Radiant know what's happening.
Ghost stick. Run away. Get out of there. The board. Let us away. They're charging in for this one. This is looking maybe a little bit better. Oh, God, he didn't get anything off. And there's going to be the chaotic offering that drops down a second. Coddle is out of there. AM is like, all right, I'm back to farming, guys. This is another dead one. Mag gets completely eliminated, and Arc is just going to be forced to cut creep waves, but GG is just going to be called. They're over it. They've had enough.
I mean, you talk about it. The 1 and 5 AM at 226 CS. Dying, what, 3-4 times in lane to Batrider Spirit Breaker, dying a couple more times to, OD Lifestealer catching him with Batrider. They needed something to win the game. They got heavily outdrafted in like the first 3 or 4 picks even, I think. That 5th and final pick from Chip+4, the AM, I don't even think it's incorrect. Like, I feel like that was the only path they could take, was the hard split push route. It just didn't work. It just really, really didn't work.
No, totally. Yeah, well, a rough one indeed. Game number 2. About not first picking, I guess Coddle and like Monkey King to me just feel like an odd support duo, because Coddle tends to want to play in that aggro role, and that's where they started him, but then you don't have any support for your safe lane, and like you don't want to run something like a Dazzle Coddle, because then you don't have any way to make anything happen.